Onward to the next mission. They're part of the group of missions I forget even exist in this game. They're just kind of there.
Those flying bastards stole my eye.
Alright, I
They
got to get this
torment
guy
me
back his
incessantly.
eye.
I can't leave here without it. I'm trapped for eternity. Get me back my eye, and I'll take you to the tower. Over here! Flying bastards! Come!
Do we need to see that whole sequence though?
Yep.
Go! Follow them! Find their nest!
Follow them. Oh. Where'd I go? I already forgot how to play this fucking game.
Go towards the things.
How do I dash? I forgot how to play this game already. Fuck.
LT and A. Hold LT and hold A while on the air. Don't ask me why these demons all of a sudden just trying to run away. Hold LT and press X.
Yeah, that's it. Lead the way.
Sweet Jesus, Armando. What are you? Oh, it's even been a week.
Bastards.
Hmm?
Use the gauntlets. Oh, it turns out I messed up. It said to my vice. Okay, I'll jump in the air and do the slam, but hold the slam before doing it.
What
So
now?
yes. Jump, hold RT, jump, and hold B. One air. That's how I get the noises. That's how I get the awkward sounding noises. Where it's all like, yeah, oh,
Yeah, boy. Oops.
you don't have to switch your weapon back every single time.
There you are.
That was a booster for your Angel Glide.
Is that supposed to scare me?
Maybe. Depends. Did it work?
No.
Then no. They're inviting you in, so you're gonna come closer.
I actually thought I died.
Let's see. I'm trying to think of right now. Topic idea. Just do the Angel Glide. I don't remember a single part of this whole entire sequence,
Flying
man.
bastards.
That's how forgettable the entire mission is. Not on the plot. Let's see. Think of. Let's see. Okay, this was a topic inspired by someone.
Okay.
This one's more Final Fantasy based, but I'm sure I can apply it to another thing. I'm sure I can easily apply it to Mass Effect.
Okay.
Okay, so Mass Effect is a story-driven series, right?
Yeah.
Do you feel like because it's story-driven that you shouldn't be allowed to complain about the gameplay?
No. You could complain.
I have seen someone say that because according to them, Final Fantasy fans pick their favorites based on the story, and that means that people should be complaining about gameplay. And it's like, what are you talking about? It's a game. Gameplay's important. It's like, there's been time and time shown that there have been games where the stories more important than gameplay. It's like, yeah, but if you base your whole, but you're claiming that people base their whole favorite game based on literally one aspect of it and don't think about the other aspect, that's stupid. That's just stupid. Like my favorite Final Fantasy is 5. And one of 5's biggest problems is the story. It's super basic. The whole entire story is basic and tries to hide the fact that it's basic by essentially being a parody of Final Fantasy. It relies on making fun of Final Fantasy to essentially hide the fact of how generic it is. And there's been nothing in the story that's been all that great. What instead was great is the character interactions. Just because the characters are great doesn't mean the story itself is great.
Yeah.
Like you saw that example with the ship graveyard, where they did the whole brainwashing thing, but it fell on Gallic because just solely for the fact that he has amnesia.
Yeah.
Now that was clearly them trying to make a joke. If we make a joke, and I feel the joke is more directed towards Final Fantasy IV, because Final Fantasy IV uses a whole lot of, this person was brainwashed the whole time, a lot in that game. And I do mean a lot. By a lot, I mean Kane spends 75% of the game either being brainwashed or not brainwashed. You finally fight the big bad guy, only to find out he too was brainwashed. Then you fight the real bad guy, who turns out he too was brainwashed.
Wow.
Final Fantasy IV's biggest problem is the fact that they keep feeling the need to put in twists just for the sake of having twists. And not even thinking about how dumb and how much it was on the narrative, when the guy you've been chasing after the entire game turns out to not be the bad guy at all. And then the bad guy behind him turns out also to not be the bad guy. It's incredibly stupid.
Why am I doing this for a crusty old demon?
Now that's a question. How do you feel about stories that try and do that twist of turns out the bad guy wasn't actually the bad guy the whole time?
It depends. Like, I don't know. If I find it good, I wouldn't mind. But if it just comes out of nowhere, it's like, oh.
Bastards.
Like in Final Fantasy IV's case, imagine spending 90% of the game chasing after one dude, then once you finally confront them and they have no way out, they suddenly go, I'm not actually the bad guy.
Oh.
Like that is the example of Final Fantasy IV's case. You spend 90% of the game going after this one dude, only to find out, oh, he's never the bad guy. It's like, what? Don't want to spend the entire game going after him for. Also, this one is probably gonna be something you probably never experienced, or at least often enough.
Okay.
But how do you feel about games that have multiple boss fights back to back?
I
say I'm unsure if you've seen that because that's mostly associated with RPGs.
Sometimes I like them, sometimes I don't.
Like, do you feel like, this is a question. Do you feel it's more okay if it's one boss that has multiple phases, or it's a case of you're just fighting multiple people back to back?
One boss that has multiple phases.
Because SMT4 Apocalypse has this one moment where you fight one boss, then a second boss shows up, and then a third boss just shows up out of nowhere.
Oh no,
It's
that's
to fight
too much.
it's to fight all three of them back to back.
Nah.
Like, no time for breaks, no time for nothing. You better be prepared to immediately just fight three people back to back. But I say it's most associated. I think the whole entire thing is mostly associated with RPGs.
Extra mission, ain't it?
Okay, how do you feel about games that you spend the entire game with a gameplay style, and then the final boss suddenly decides to just switch the entire gameplay?
Depends.
Okay, here's an example. Let's say you got through Mass Effect 1, right?
Yeah,
You get all the way to the final boss, right?
yeah.
And then all of a sudden, the game suddenly decides, I think it's about time we suddenly decide,
Oh shit, I'm back here.
suddenly decide, let's make this game about sword fighting instead.
Oh, that'd be fucking weird.
That's Uncharted 4 in a nutshell.
Wow.
The final conflict in the game literally goes from a third-person shooter to suddenly a reaction-based sword fight. And it's just horrible design to do something like that. You never switch the entire gameplay once you get to the final boss, because the whole entire point of final boss is to be everything the player has learned. The player has not learned how to play like this.
Hmm.
And I hate the fact that Uncharted 4 fans acknowledge that that's bad design, but then say, but it's still amazing though, it's still dramatic. No, it's not. Uncharted 4 already has piss poor writing, and I never understand people like it. Like, let's just say this is one question.
Hmm.
Okay, let's say you went on a dangerous journey for a relative they didn't even know you had, right?
Okay.
Let's say during that journey, you're then told that everything they told you was a lie.
Well, fuck me, right?
Would you still help them?
No.
And that's why I hate Uncharted 4. The entire crux of the narrative is Nathan freaking finding out that his brother has been alive for years. They reconnect, go on this big adventure, and then get told, oh, by the way, remember how your brother told you how he needed to do his adventure because he owes someone big money and he'll be killed? Yeah, he lied to you the entire time because he's greedy. And then there's a segment where freaking Nathan tells Sam, if you turn around right now, I will not go back and save you. And then Sam actually turns around and leaves, only for Sawyer to go, he called your bluff, Nate, what you gonna do? I was like, no, leave! Screw him! Then my brother went, oh, you're telling me that if I lied to you, risked your whole life and your relationship, you wouldn't go after me? No! That's how you know that's how I know you're smart. You wouldn't do something that stupid. And then to make it worse, okay. So this became infamous for Uncharted 4. But before the game was released, Naughty Dog talked about apparently how one of their QA testers just started flipping their crud while testing the game, right?
Yeah.
They kept having issues with the narratives. Their main issue being Nadine Ross, who's a new character into the story. Their issue being the fact that throughout the entire game, you spent multiple times having fist fights with Nadine, right?
Yeah.
No matter what you do, you cannot hit her.
Wow.
No matter what you do, Nathan always, in the literal sense, finds some other way to go around her. Even when it's 2-on-1 with both Nathan and Sam against Nadine, she somehow manages to hold off both of them without as much as a scratch.
Mm.
And that's not even on top of the fact that she's just pointless to the plot. Like, she does not need to be there. She serves no purpose. And then to make it worse, she then lectures Nate and the main villain about being greedy, despite the fact that Nathan already knows this. He already knows this. You should not be lecturing him like he's a child. So that was one thing. The other thing that made this person flip out, and this one I actually don't get why. There's an epilogue segment where you play as Nathan and freaking He played as freaking Nathan's kid,
Yeah.
and for some reason the tester flipped out because Nathan's kid is a girl.
Oh, okay.
That was like, what's wrong with you? Although considering, according to them, the quote from the guy, I also am not sure if I even believe Naughty Dog because it sounds so stupid. Like, who actually would actually scream out, "No, Naughty Dog, not you too," over that? Like, that one sounds that sounds like a whole lot of BS. But Nadine Rush is a bad character. Like, I don't know if she gets better in the spinoff game, but in terms of Uncharted 4, she's pointless.
Mm.
She does nothing for the narrative. There's even one point where she is very stupid.
The eye. You have it? Have you?
It's just, why? That game, yes, that game did win an award for best writing.
Wow.
No. It's not have good writing, and Sam is not a good character, let alone a good
I
person.
can see.
He is a selfish prick. Till the end. And it's like, nah, but that's his brother and family.
No.
Dude, sometimes you gotta go fuck family.
No. I knew your father.
If they nearly cost you your life and your freaking relationships, I'm starting to think they're not. I'm pretty sure you should go. Maybe you're not worth it.
You are Nephilim.
Maybe I'm better off
can see that,
dumping
too.
this useless bag of weight from my life.
What are you?
Oh my!
Phineas. Scholar.
Maybe I'm better off
Inventor,
dumping
right.
this useless bag of use his freaking sandbag for my
And until
life.
You arrived, political prisoner of Mundus.
That's so stupid.
It wasn't a favor.
That's a pet peeve I have in a lot of stories, actually.
Of course.
The whole entire, your mom or dad was a horrible person, abused you, and did all this, but you gotta forgive them because they're family in the end.
LOL. XD.
No,
XD.
no. Let them burn. That's something I'll never understand. That's not even just a freaking story thing. That's also even freaking especially with people who are like, why can't you just forgive your relative? Like, no.
Hundreds of years.
How about no?
Sure you know your way around.
Like the back of
Like,
my
yeah, apparently it's to the point where even therapists
nuts?
will tell you to
forget.
just forgive a relative who just being horrible to you, because according to them, you can't begin healing unless you forgive them. No.
You only see evil in me because
about
I'm
no?
a demon. Try opening your mind.
No.
It's all a matter of perspective.
No, you know what you do? You know what you would say for any person if they weren't a relative? You would tell them to drop them and get rid of them for their life. But the millisecond they mention blood relation, nah, put up with any sort of BS they've ever done.
All is
Suddenly
forgiven.
So yeah, suddenly all must be forgiven. Like no. Like, I actually remember how some relatives of mine actually got into like a fight over that. Or fight over that how. So what I didn't know at the time, because I've only interacted with this guy when I was young, was the fact that the person that I thought was their dad was actually their stepdad. Because their actual dad is a huge piece of shit.
Her name was
And apparently the older brothers actually started having a big argument because of the fact that one of them, justifiably refused to call their dad an actual human being, let alone their dad. And it's like, you shouldn't be like that. You should always respect them. I think I had to an argument on whether or not that person even deserves respect.
They were
I'm on the side of fuck him.
Which made them a threat. Like me.
which is also was also apparently something that happened with a different relative, where apparently my dad met apparently dad interacted with one of my cousin's fathers, who was a piece of shit, and my dad told him, I better not ever see you, I better not see you ever show up around your kid again. And being like, hey, your kid's going places. If I ever see you show up again, don't do it. Just don't do it. Just don't come back. Once you walk out, don't bother coming back, because it won't end well. And it's like, yeah, that's how it should be. If they're a jerk, get rid of them forever.
Whoa.
Now, are we sure that's a witch? It's like, no, get rid of them. This has been your PSA brought to you by Incompetence. If someone is harmful in your life, it is best to just completely drop them, no matter who they are, or what they say, or they say they'll change. Change does not happen in a day, people. It takes a long time for someone to truly actually change. and the last part, remember that last part? That last part can, in fact, save your life. Man, me and my dad have read too many news stories of people who decided to go back to their abusive boyfriend or girlfriend because, like, they said they changed, and they died.
Oh my god.
Then they died. And it's like,
Right.
no one changes in over a weekend. Like, those kind of cases where my dad's like, I don't feel bad. My dad is legitimately like, I don't even feel bad for the victim. You were just stupid. Like, you were just too stupid at that point to honestly believe them. Harsh, I know, but it's also reality. Just like how, I'm not sure if you've seen this. There was this video from months ago of a doctor who dressed up as Batman.
No, I haven't.
Yeah, a doctor who dressed up as Batman for his child patient and said how everything will be fine. I sent that video to my dad, and my dad's like, here are how many ways this man can be sued for what he just did.
Well,
because you can't just be all about your emotion. You also gotta think logically, and logically there are many ways that man can be sued. Such as, number one, dressing up as a freaking character in your hospital. Number two, deciding to just hug your patient like that. Number three, telling your patient everything will be fine. You do not know that everything will be fine, and that's why doctors give vague answers. They cannot say yes or no. It was like, here, how many ways he can be sued for that one act. And it's like, yeah, he just brings on the real. He's like, let me just bring on the real. To think of. Let's see. Okay, here's a topic, and it's a topic that I feel like might hurt your soul.
okay.
For that I am
Okay.
sorry.
Let's say someone
Your father fell in love
wants
with
to
me.
play Mass
A love
Effect
that
1 through
transgressed
3,
rigid
Okay.
ancient boundaries.
and their only experience was with
We chose our
Andromeda.
path in the face of certain annihilation.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised.
Now,
We
what
never
if they
regretted our
told you
choices,
that
but we never
they
gave you
refuse
healers
to
like
play Mass
dear
Effect
son.
1 through 3
Now,
unless it's pretty much
finally, you will have that choice.
unless it pretty much
You
plays
have
the exact same
great
as Andromeda?
That's kind of a oof, seeing as 1 through 3 came out before Andromeda.
Yes, but let's say it's
That,
according to
my
them,
son, is
unless the
freedom.
game is pretty much the exact same thing as Andromeda,
brave,
but
my
with different
son.
characters, they refuse to play it.
I
That's
love
just
you.
an oof.
Is that being justified or entitled?
I think that would be entitled.
Like according to them, they refuse to play the games solely because according to them, if it doesn't play, if the gameplay isn't like Andromeda, then it's dated. Then it's too dated for them to play. Ultimate Devil Trigger. Time for the dumbest form of Devil Trigger in multiple ways. Do you not feel demonic power and then on your hands?
That was awesome.
You are reaching issue number 2. The fact that enemies are just flung into the air makes it incredibly awkward. Yeah. Issue number 1. Double Trigger looks terrible. You do not look like, a devil, monster, or anything.
Release you.
You just have different colored jacket and hair, and that's it. It's lame.
Dante.
Like, what even? Has that even a transformation of any kind? But yeah, back to the other thing. Because we didn't bring it up is because because Persona 5 fans refuse to play P3 and P4, and also P1 and P2, unless they all are essentially the exact same thing as P5.
Wow.
And then and some people mention, where does it get to the point where these people don't want to play P3 and P4, they just want to play P5 again? Like, there's a difference between wanting a game to have like quality of life improvements, and then there's no, it must be the exact same game. And there's a distinct difference when that happens. Like, at that point, it's just you don't even want to play the game. And dumber thing is, some people legitimately make the argument that by not remaking P3 and P4 to play like P5, that Atlas is quote unquote excluding them from any P3 and P4 references, and it's not them refusing to play P3 and P4. It's Atlas being malicious. Ronald, imagine if someone told you that BioWare is being dicks because they refuse to remake Mass Effect 1 through 3, but want to have references to Mass Effect 1 through 3. How stupid would that sound?
Yeah, it would.
Like, oh my god, they keep making references to the one get input. Also, there's healing over there. Look at the green thing on the wall.
Oh,
That's healing. Also, hold to the right. No, not left. Try the camera left. Fine, to the right then. Pick one. Pick one there. Right there.
this.
No, left. Turn the camera left.
Okay, left.
Stop. Right there. See that hole?
Yes.
See right there? That's where you're going. That's where you're going.
Thanks.
It's just waving is that they won't make a copy of the game. No, that means it's not my fault for not wanting to play it. It's the company's fault. Like, what? It's not my fault for not wanting to play P3. It's their fault for not wanting to remake P3.
Exactly.
Because it's unnecessary. What the hell even? Especially the people who are like, I don't want to have to buy a PS2 or PSP to play Persona 3, then emulate it. No, I don't want to emulate it either. Like, go fuck yourself! At that point, you got no excuse. You have two options right there. It's like if someone went, I don't got a PS3 or Xbox 360 to play Mass Effect 1 through 3 to play it on PC. I don't want to. That's your problem. That's your fault right there. It's not the company's fault.
No, it's the company's fault.
You're the one actually refusing to play the game at that point. What even? These people think they're being sound and logical with this.
Surely my points will get across.
These are the same people who complain about Persona Q2 being on 3DS. Well, have I told you that?
I think so.
All the people who are all like, I own a 3DS. I refuse to use it because it's not my Switch.
Wow.
That makes it even worse. People who own the system will just refuse to use it for whatever arbitrary reason. Like, you already spent the money on the system, just use it. What even is this? It's like going, yes, Sony made God of War on PS4, but they didn't make it on the Xbox, so it's not my fault that I don't play it. Just play the damn thing. We already own the system. We already own it. The only thing worse than that are Switch fans who are like, anything that comes to Switch is objectively best played on Switch. It's like, no,
You found your inner devil.
that's not how that works.
But you have yet to discover your full
That's not how that works. The Switch is not a magic device that makes everything better.
And if you do kill Mundus,
Just because you can take something outside doesn't make it better. And let's be honest with yourself. How often are you gonna be playing a game outside? That is the point I will always make. Let's be honest, people. How long will we actually be playing something outside?
If we were back in like 2005, maybe.
Like, people make the excuse of, I can play the game while on the train for 10 minutes. What the fuck are you gonna do in 10 minutes?